Hi friends, I'm Chelsea and I am here with my January TBR. So first of all, Happy New Year. I can't believe that I'm making my first TBR of 2025. Somehow we are here. So very exciting. I'm just looking forward to another great year of reading. Don't worry, I'm still working on my best books of 2024 video. We went out of town after Christmas, so I ran out of time on my end of year content, but I will be working on that one and you'll see that one hopefully next week. And then we'll move on to kind of my 2025 priority TBR, reading goals, and all that. Today, I thought it would be fun to tell you some books I'm looking forward to reading in January, pick some prompts from my jar, and also let you know about some challenges and readathons that I'm hoping to be a part of this year. I guess I'll let you know about the challenges and readathons first of all. So a lot of you probably are already aware of this, but Books and Lala, Kayla is her name, she does the Buzzwordathon every year, and I've never done it before, but I watched her video, I think it came out last month, and it sounds really fun. So pretty much you just pick a different book that matches with a different prompt of each month, and you just try to match up as many as possible. This is just a printed version of it, but each month has a different prompt or thing that you're looking to check off with your book. So for January, it's truth and lies. So anything that has like truth or lies in the title, and February is water words, March is thing, April is animals, so stuff like that. So those are specifically for book titles, I believe, or like subtitles. And then she also has a cover challenge. So it's the same thing, but things that you need to find on the cover. So for January, the cover challenge is pattern. So any kind of pattern. So I am looking to find some books that will fit into those categories of having a pattern on the cover and the title having truth or lies in it. Ideally, that would fit into one book, but that probably won't happen. So we'll see about that. Also, if you hear noise in the background, apparently it is yard work day in my apartment complex. So unfortunately, that's what's happening in this exact moment of me filming. And then the other challenge that I'm hoping to participate in this year is Diversity Book Bingo, which was created by Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club. And I will link everyone's channels and the videos where they talk about these challenges so you can check them out and see if you want to join in as well. I have another printed thing here, especially for bingo. It'll be fun to kind of check those off. And the whole point of this is to just introduce more diverse books into your reading. And specifically, we are supposed to read a different book from each continent, and then also different categories of diversity rep, like Indigenous people, disability, minority, LGBTQIA+. And then there's also a bunch of prompts on the bingo board, like 5-star read, 2025 release, comfort read, favorite author, translated, new country, stuff like that. So you can kind of get creative with it while also picking books from different continents and with different diversity rep. So I love this, and I'm definitely looking for books to fit into these categories. So I'm just keeping all of that in mind as I'm picking my books for each month. And otherwise, I only have 2 books for sure that I'm planning to read this month. Then I'll kind of let you know what else I'm thinking. So speaking of Ellen, we are planning to do a buddy read of Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. I still need to figure out if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And so this has been on both of our TBRs for a while, and we finally decided that January was the month to buddy read it. And actually, I might be able to count this for the pattern. Does that look like a pattern to you? We have some waves here and some red things going on. That kind of looks like a pattern on the cover, so I might be able to count that for the buzzword cover challenge. And also this will count for Africa and a new country, as it is set partially in Ghana. This is kind of like a multi-generational, geographical location kind of story following 2 half-sisters, and it says it traces 300 years in Ghana, and it also goes to America throughout the years. I don't know a ton about it, but I've heard that's just a really powerful, emotional, kind of heavy, but really important read. So I'm excited to read this with Ellen this month. And then the other book I'm planning to read is for my in-person book club, and it's currently on the way to me in the mail, so I don't have it with me right now, but I will have the physical copy. And that is The Frozen River by Ariel Lawson. I can't remember the title or the author, but you'll see her name here. And this is a historical fiction. I think it's about like a midwife based on some true events. I think it's set in Maine in the 1700s. That's all I know. It's apparently a very wintry read based on the title and the cover, and I'm really excited to read that. I always love historical fiction, and it seems like a really well-loved book. So I'm planning to get to that probably starting today. So I have my TBR jar that I'm going to pick from, and I also made a jar of all the series I'm in the middle of, and I think I'm going to pick one book from that jar every month to really encourage me to read the series I'm in the middle of. And I'm also just really trying to prioritize my physical TBR. That's the goal. There's always new books coming out, like Onyx Storm, for example. I'm planning to read that soon after it comes out if I can get my hands on it, and other new releases that sound good, but I'm really trying to kind of focus on the books I already have because I have way too many. There's also a couple Fable book clubs that I'm interested in joining, but I don't own either of the books, so I'm kind of just waiting on them from the library. One of them is the Homey and Homely Book Club. So Lindsay has a channel. It's called She Is Booked and Busy. I love her videos. They're always really fun and entertaining, and her Fable book club is reading An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, which I have heard great things about. It's like a YA fantasy series. I think it might be kind of dystopian. I really want to read that, but I'm waiting for it from the library. And then another one is Shuba from Shuba Reads Books. She has a Fable book club as well, and they are reading The Wedding People, and I can't remember the author's name, but you'll see it on the screen. This is a fairly new release, and I just think it's a general literary fiction with kind of some mental health topics, emotional but funny, and I've heard really good things about it as well. So I would love to read both of those along with everyone in this Fable book club, but we'll see if I can get my hands on either of those books in time to read it with everyone else. So with all that said, I'm just going to pick from my series jar first. I feel like that was a lot of talking and not picking any books, although I already told you about 2 books, but I'm going to pick a book from a series that I would like to continue, and we'll see if I'm in the mood to read it this month. And also a lot of them may not be on my physical TBR, but I do want to keep working through these series or finishing them depending on how far I am. Okay, we got Anne of Green Gables. So I read Anne of Green Gables last year, loved it, and I did buy the second book, Anne of Avonlea. I think it's actually up with my classics, so let me grab it really quick. Okay, so here is book 2, Anne of Avonlea, this beautiful thrifted cover. I think I put this on my TBR sometime last year, didn't read it, but I do want to continue this series. This is good because it's on my physical TBR actually, and it's pretty short. I mean, it's like just over 350 pages, but it is kind of middle grade. The text is fairly big, I guess. The pages are tiny. So I think this is a good one to add to my TBR. I would love to see where Anne Shirley's story goes from where it left off in the first book. So I will be adding Anne of Avonlea to my January TBR. So since I already have like 5-ish books on my radar, I think I'm going to pick 4 prompts, even though I usually only like to have around 8 books on my TBR. I may not get to some of these books, like the Fable Book Club books. So I'm going to pick 4 from my TBR jar. I'm going to try to find something that fits with truth and lies for the Buzzword-a-thon, and try to pick books that are diverse. Here's our first prompt. A book I've been putting off. Always love when I get this prompt. I feel like I've gotten it before, and it's probably good because I need to push myself. I have my TBR cart here as well, which you can't see super well. I could move it a little bit, I guess. You can see that a little bit, right? Disregard all the background stuff. So here we are with my TBR cart. I also have a lot of books on my TBR shelf, or just my bookshelf that are on my TBR, but the cart is pretty stacked, so we'll look at that. A book I've been putting off. I've definitely been putting Demon Copperhead off, and I still don't know if I'm ready to read that this month. Pachinko, kind of been putting that off. 2 kind of heavier, thicker, historical, literary type books. My Brilliant Friend, another one that I've kind of been putting off that I do want to read this year. Shady Hollow, still haven't read it. It's been on my TBR like 3 times now. Did not read it in December, and I just don't even know what to say for myself. Okay. I had to do a little more searching because I wasn't really feeling anything on my cart. This is kind of more on my priority TBR for 2025. I really wanted to read it in 2024. Never got to it. Not because I didn't want to read it, but I feel like I was kind of putting it off for whatever reason. But I've heard good things and I really want to read this. So hopefully this will be the month. That is Hello Beautiful by Ann Napolitano. This is a literary fiction, and I've heard that it's like an homage to Little Women, about this man who meets this girl. They strike up a relationship, and then he meets her family, her 3 sisters, their family drama, and some things that get uncovered in the past. Would love to read this. So hopefully I can actually do that this month. Okay, second prompt, a book that will make me laugh. I like that because I do have some potentially heavier, more emotional books here. So that's good. Anne of Avonlea could make me laugh, but That's already on the TBR. And that's good too because one of the prompts from the diversity book bingo is laughter. So I could knock that one out by picking a book that will make me laugh. So I got this book recently for Christmas, The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. I think it's kind of a cozy book, kind of quirky. I've heard that it's funny, so that could be an option. Book that could make me laugh. Probably none of these historical or literary fictions. I feel like a lot of my books here are kind of heavier, darker, more serious type books. Okay, yeah, I don't want to spend a ton of time trying to figure this out. So I think I'm going to put The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love by India Holton on here. I guess an ornithologist is a person who studies birds. That is not something I'm very well versed in. This says, rival ornithologists hunt through England for a rare magical bird in this historical fantasy rom-com reminiscent of Indiana Jones but with manners, tea, and helicopter parasols. Sounds pretty unique. This is the same author of The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels, which I actually kind of soft DNF'd earlier in the year. I just wasn't in the mood for it, but I was enjoying the writing and it was funny, so I think it'll probably have a similar feel to that, and this is her newest release. I'm excited to check this one out. Okay, 2 more prompts, and I still need to find a Truth and Lies title or something related to that. I do have a couple books that would fit with that on my TBR, but we'll see. Okay, I've gotten this one before, but we can do it again. It's Random Number Generator. You can't see that. I don't know why I showed it to you. Every time this happens, I need to think of how I want to do it. I'll put all the books that are on my TBR cart into this random number generator on Google, and then I guess whatever it picks, I'll count through them and figure it out. So I have 43 books on my TBR cart. I'm going to generate. I got 33 out of 43. So I'm just going to start from the top and count. Let's see if you can see this. Okay, you can see it a little better. This is going to be a weird angle, but here we are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, the 5th season. So I can't pick that one actually because I think I'm going to do it as a buddy read with Kat from Curious Cat. And I think we said sometime in the spring. I'm not going to do that one because we're going to buddy read it. I'm going to regenerate. Sorry, this angle is so weird. Okay, 38. So we know that was 33. I'm just going to continue from where we were and get to number 38. So 5th season was 33. You can't even see it. Sorry. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. 38 takes us to the back of the cart. I just picked the first one, the one that was closest to me. This is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey, the first book in the Expanse series. I do really want to read this. I was hoping to read it last fall and never got around to it. It's a space opera sci-fi series, unlike anything I've read before, so I'm curious to check it out, even though sci-fi is not really my genre. Also hoping I can get some of the audiobooks for these because, as you know, I consume a lot of audiobooks and a lot of these might not be available. So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, here's the last prompt. This just says books. You see that? I don't think I meant to write that. I don't know what books means. Clearly all of these are books. Okay, I think I know where I was going with that. This was the buzzword cover challenge for March. The prompt was books. So I guess that's what I meant, but that I don't even know why I put that in this jar. That makes no sense to me. I'm going to pick another one because that just doesn't make sense. I guess it means like pick a book with books on the cover, but that's for March. So I don't know why I put that in the jar. I was not thinking. Okay, we have opposite genre of my last read. What did I just read? I can't even remember. Okay, technically I finished 2 books on New Year's Eve and that was my last read. And one was epic fantasy and one was just like general fantasy, I guess, kind of fairy tale feel. So pretty much fantasy. What's the opposite genre of fantasy? I guess anything that's really set in the real world with no fantastical elements. So it could be like lit fic. I guess it could be like a mystery thriller. I have one in mind for the Truth and Lies prompt that I could potentially use if a mystery is the opposite genre of fantasy. So if we're comparing epic fantasy with YA murder mystery, that feels pretty opposite, right? Like those are very different. This one would be great because the title is One of Us is Lying, and the truth and lies prompt that would fit for the January Buzzwordathon. I think I could also probably get the audiobook for this. I'm gonna say that a young adult mystery is pretty opposite from an epic fantasy slash just general fantasy. I guess it's just a YA murder mystery following a big cast of characters. That's all I know. I don't really want to read the synopsis, but yeah, One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus definitely was pretty popular a couple years ago. I'm a little late on it, but I do want to read this. I think we need to stop there because we already have like 8 to 10 books on my radar. So let me do a little recap here and see if all of this makes sense. So like I just said, for the last prompt, which was opposite genre of what I just read, this would be One of Us is Lying. For random number generator, I got Leviathan Wakes. For a book that will make me laugh, I have The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. For a book I've been putting off, I have Hello Beautiful. From my series jar, I ended up with Anne of Avonlea, book 2 in the Anne of Green Gables series. And then my buddy read with Ellen will be Homegoing. And then my in-person book club book is The Frozen River. And then, like I said, I have a couple others on my radar if I can get them in time, including An Ember in the Ashes for the Homey and Homely book club. Also The Wedding People for We Read Books book club. And then if I can get access to Onyx Storm when it comes out at the end of the month, that would be great. Those are the books that are kind of on my radar, books that my jar picked, and books I'm excited to read this month. As always, let me know what is on your January TBR, if you have read any of these books, if you want to buddy read any of these books. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!